Hey, Beerfield Fantasy family. Are you guys looking for an extra edge to help you win your fantasy football leagues this year? Or maybe you joined 20 leagues and are having a tough time juggling all those starting lineups.
I'm trying to figure out how to make 20 on the cam.
20.
I think I'm backwards. I think I need to do... Wait.
All right.
No,
well, as he's trying to figure out how to sign out 20, you may want to check out Squad QL if you're in 20 fantasy leagues. It helps a mobile app to help you optimally set your lineups and win all your leagues this season. Squad QL directly connects to any Yahoo league on Yahoo, ESPN, or CBS, pulling in the roster, league settings, scoring system to provide some recommendations for you to get the best waiver moves possible, set your optimal starting lineup, and make trade recommendations for you to help win your league. Head to squadql.com to download the all-in-one fantasy football manager app. Squad QL is brought to you by the creators of RotoQL, the leading daily fantasy lineup optimizer trusted by 100,000 DFS players. You can also download RotoQL for free on both Apple and Android. Hit the music. And welcome back to Beerfield Fantasy Football for the second annual Cutdown Spectacular. Woo! Woo! We are at Beerfield FF. I am Nick Sparts, joined as always by Dan Thury.
At Thury BFF. What's up, guys?
And to my left, Christopher Hopper.
At Hot BFF with 2 P's and recently anointed a counterfeit bitch by a homeless lady.
I was there for this one.
He was indicating.
I somehow missed this interaction.
I somehow... Never mind.
Well, it's because we were walking back to the vehicles together when that happened.
Yep.
All right, so on today's episode, we're going to go through all skill positions we've been talking about all offseason who unfortunately did not make their team, kind of go into analysis of what we think might happen to them as they're no longer with their team. We're also going to go through some of the players that have already been picked up and landed in new spots, and we have a ton of news to go over for you guys. Before we do all of that, though, we do have a social media shout out here. Just remember, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Untapped at BeerfieldFF if you looking for any information tweeting out from the show. I'm actually going to try to tweet out stuff that's happening while we're recording just to try to get it out as early as possible once we get into the season here. So you don't have to wait those extra few hours for the show to drop just because things are going to be moving so fast. Also, Dan will be dropping things like start sits, can art, things like that on Instagram, and as always, beer reviews on Untapped.
I know you're going to talk about this later in the episode, but I want to get it out there earlier. Then we'll remind you again at the end of it. We will be here on Sunday, all 3 of us this week, but at least 2 of us. 10:30 a.m. live streams. So weather updates, injury updates, start sits, answering any questions you might have. Show up on YouTube for that. Make sure you subscribe so you get the notification when we do go live. Also, you already know this because you're listening to this Monday evening, but from now through the end of the regular season, our episodes will still drop Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but they're going to be evening releases, not morning releases, because we're recording same day.
Yep, so look for about a 12-hour shift down just because we're going to be dropping them as soon as we're done recording. Hopper's going to immediately start publishing those on YouTube and all of the podcast platforms for you guys.
That's just to make sure you guys get the most up-to-date information possible when we record.
Yep. And remember, if you want to check us out on YouTube at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, so if you're Eastern, Mountain, or Pacific, adjust accordingly. Beerfield Fantasy Football is where you can find us on YouTube and Facebook as well. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. If you can like and comment on the videos, I appreciate that very much. And then, as always, subscribe and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. All that does help boost the show, and we appreciate all that our fans are doing for us in that regard. And one last shout out for if you are looking for some merch to rock this fantasy football season, DM the show at BeerfieldFF, and we will get you hats, shirts, whatever it is you need to rep the show to let them know that you are Beerfield. Let's hit a beer preview.
I like that. It's a good catchphrase. That was
Beerfield.
Wait, that was our own drop. I was so impressed by the catchphrase, I started to go into news. There we go.
I'm so proud of you, Mom.
We'll get to news in just a moment, but first we have to talk about Moon Boots Peanut Butter Porter by F-Town Brewing.
It's called a teaser.
Right? F-Town's based out of Faribault, Minnesota. It's their first time appearing on the show. It's a peanut butter and chocolate porter, clocks in at 5.1% ABV, 24 IBUs. We'll give you a full review of Moon Boots once we get through all the cut downs.
Are we doing news first? Or are we doing cut downs?
We are doing news first.
Okay.
News.
I'd be so happy when we're just live on Sundays and I don't have to wake up Sunday morning all lazy and stuff and have to try to remember a show script.
Just roll with it.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Okay, we'll do it live.
All right, NFL.com's Ian Rappaport reports the Eagles will start Nick Foles week 1 as Carson Wentz continues to rehab his torn ACL. He has not been cleared for contact yet. They're saying he may not be ready week 2 or even later than that.
This is something we didn't think was going to happen earlier in the season, but as it got later into training camp, we've kind of been warning about. So they're going to be without Foles, potentially without Ajayi, potentially without Jeffrey. So
Without Wentz.
Without Wentz, potentially without Ajayi, and without Jeffrey. So
It does sound like Ajayi is going to go.
Is he?
Yeah, I saw that somewhere.
He may be. You think
Maybe.
they try to conserve him, limit him at all with the stable of competent backs? That they
I almost
have?
would.
Considering they got a long kind of week after it's a Thursday night game for them, they may run him normally.
Anyway, it's Atlanta. They're not exactly scary. On their defense is okay. It's not world beater or anything like that. So I'd expect the Eagles to be all right, even with Foles at the helm. I mean, they want a Super Bowl. So
just fade things ever so slightly without Jeffrey and Wentz there.
a little bit.
I'm a little nervous.
Boost to Aguilar.
All right. The Raiders acquire quarterback A.J. McCarron from the Bills for a 5th-round pick.
Nobody wants him.
What are the Raiders doing?
I have no idea.
More to that later. But what are the Raiders
They needed
doing?
a backup, I guess.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, because their
This is
option
more of,
it was
I think-
Connor Cook.
It was Connor Cook. So, I mean, that's AJ
And-
McCarron's an improvement. So, this means it's Nathan Peterman or Josh Allen.
Yep, and I'm almost 100% certain we will see Josh Allen this year.
Yeah, we will
Probably.
see Josh Allen this year. It's just, will it be week 1?
NFL Network's Ian Rappaport confirms Jerick McKinnon will miss the rest of the season with a right ACL tear.
Yeah, this is pretty yikes given all the hype that came out on him to start. Then you kind of faded out the injury in preseason, but you're still hoping for him to be kind of a value and really perform for you. And then he goes out and shreds an ACL. And, as a side note, this does not make the people that predicted him as a bust right, because you can't predict injuries.
You can't. Well, I put injury concerns as part of the reason why he was a bust, but I was not expecting this
Usually
type
not
of
a torn
injury.
ACL is what
you don't predict ACL
You can't
tears.
predict ACL tears. So, Morris, Burita, probably a timeshare to start. So just own them both.
So where are you taking him
They're
right now?
must-adds. They're must-adds.
Because people will be drafting through Wednesday.
Alfred Morris, probably 6 or 7. Burita, probably a round or 2 later.
So kind of where Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones are going right now.
It's about the same split.
Yeah. I like Morris a little bit more, so I'm fine with that.
All right. One note, too. Neither one is an excellent pass catcher. Burita is better than Morris, but that's not saying a whole hell of a lot. And Shanahan uses a lot of pass catching with his running back, so he could still add
Could
someone.
be Mostert. Who knows?
Or Mostert was the name I was going to bring
I was
out.
going to say, yeah. Or somebody's going to learn real quick.
Yeah.
Because
Trial by fire.
trial by fire, exactly. And it may be Burita that ends up learning that more. We already know that doesn't work for Alfred Morris. So.
Yeah, they tried teaching him. It doesn't really work.
Yeah.
So Burita may
Just
be
don't reach for any of these players. That's why, even like a 6-rounder is a little
Yeah.
It's almost like let somebody else do it. Something happens, they drop a player.
So
it could
that should be a
case,
pretty
too.
good offensive line, though, and Morris will get the
I
majority
trust
of the
Morris a
two-down
little
work.
bit more. Yeah,
So
I do too.
he should...
a little bit more.
That's why you draft him higher.
I love Morris in standard leagues, obviously less so in half or full point PPR, but he's still the one I'm looking at more.
Yeah.
All right, Texans place Deonta Foreman on reserve PUP list. This isn't a big shock, but
Oh my God, it's like I've been saying this the entire offseason. And we've been saying this the entire offseason, even when people, when for whatever reason, we're drafting Deonta Foreman.
They're still drafting Deonta Foreman. He still goes.
I get it. Lamar Miller's gross, but he's what you got right now.
yep, because the whatever Alfred Blue is not going to take touches from him.
Whatever Alfred Blue.
Draft Lamar Miller in the 4th or 5th round, and you'll be happy with it because it'll either be your 3rd running back or you're stacked a wide receiver.
All right, Saints clear out some of their running back core. They put Shane Vereen on IR.
I dropped him. No reason to hold Shane Vereen.
All right, Chris Warren will undergo knee surgery and has been placed on IR. He is done for the year because it was before the cuts were complete, so he cannot come off.
Now, he's an interesting one to stash on IR, though.
Any sort of deep dynasty format, I'm
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hold on.
or if you just have IR spots.
Did a very strong preseason, and I don't know what
well,
the Lynch and Martin contract situations look like after this season.
They're both-
They're both on the wrong side of 30. They're
That-
about
well,
to be.
that too.
Yeah, they're both free agents after
But
this
it's
year.
also John Gruden who loves his old
Because
players.
Martin was on a 1-year deal and Lynch is on the 2nd year of his 2-year deal.
All right.
Yeah, and they're both on the wrong side of 30.
All right. Alshon Jeffrey passed his physical on Friday, so he's not on the PUP list, so he should be back before week 6. The current reports are saying he may not play the first 2 games, and I just noted here that I currently have not ranked him for week 1.
Yeah, I'm not expecting him for the first 2 games either. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube and you notice the light changing, blame the sun.
Fuck you, son.
Thanks, son. No, we do not have studio lighting. We fry enough in here already.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's hot enough. That ain't happening. LEDs might come soon, though.
Chargers agree to terms with tight end Antonio Gates on a 1-year contract.
This has been expected. I'm just surprised it took so long to happen.
They probably wanted to wait for cutdowns to be finished to see if anything interesting got cut by another team so that they could go with maybe grab somebody younger. But
I don't think he needs training camp, though.
But I went through the tight end cut list, and there was like one name that was at all interesting.
Rico didn't get cut. So, he doesn't need training camp. He's going to come in, and he's probably going to sit behind that Trey Burton, Evan Ingram tier.
Oh, I'm having way lower than that.
Are you?
I'll probably have him down behind
what
Watson.
Oh, see, I wouldn't do
I'm
that.
gonna say, like, what do you do with
They use tight ends
with
a
other
decent
Williams,
amount.
Gates? It's tough because he's, this could be like Ben Watson when he came, to New Orleans. He's older, like even like Baltimore Ben Watson when he was productive. It's just that he's not going to have the outside the 20s production that you expect a.
I expect him to see very few, if any, snaps in between the 20s. I think he's strictly going to be a red zone guy. He's going to be very touchdown dependent, even more so than most tight ends are. So I'm going to. He's going to be an interesting name, obviously, in 2 tight end leagues all over that. But
I'm not saying go draft him in your 12-team redraft league. There's no reason to reach that low. I'm saying he's probably going to be in the mid-teens for me, though.
Well, yeah, that's where I've got Watson.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I've got Watson lower.
Yeah.
There's
that's
the
true. That's right.
There's
That's
the
right.
miscommunication right there. I've got Watson around the 20s.
Oh, Watson's like my 15 or 16.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was saying that if, Burton and Ingram are like my 9 and 10, so he's going to be, either the back end of the Vinette Hooper tier or towards the top of the next tier. He's in that tier of just flyers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Chargers place Hunter Henry on reserve PUP, so he can come back this year. So this is definitely interesting. Keep an eye on this. We'll keep updating it as we get more notes on his progression. We were expecting to go to IR and just be done for the season.
I still expect him to go to IR at some point.
But
there's no way he comes back in the season on a late May ACL tear. 6 months would put him at November. I think they're doing it just like if they expect a deep playoff run, so they can have him for the playoffs. Maybe.
So I believe the way it works is they have to activate him in season. I don't believe you can activate someone from IR after you go to the playoffs.
What I read said they're hoping November or December. So
yeah, they're hoping a 6 or 7 month recovery.
I read for
right.
a deep playoff.
So this is just something to keep an eye on it because if he comes back, he's immediately a top 7 or 8 tight end. All right. One last note for you guys here. This is kind of a big one. Bears acquire outside linebacker Khalil Mack, a 2020 second-round pick, and a conditional 2020 fifth-round pick from the Raiders. In addition, in exchange for a 2019 first, a 2020 first, 2020 third, and a 2019 sixth. So what do you guys think of the trade? How does this change the balance of power in both the North and the AFC West?
I'll let the Vikings fans go first before I step up on my happy throne.
Okay, it's a lot to give up. Those are those are rookies that you can pull in on cheaper contracts, but it gets them a exceptional outside pass rusher. I still think he should have been the number 1 player in the what was that, the 2013 draft class?
Yeah.
I would have taken him over Clowney. I think he was the best player in that draft, and he's proven it so far in his time with the Raiders. He was about the only good part of that Raiders defense. So I'm starting every player I can against the Raiders defense for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Easily.
That's a lock.
And
I was doing that before
this,
the Mac trade.
This team is going to be a full rebuild going into Vegas. It looks like, outside of quarterback.
So for me, like that note I made about what the Raiders are doing, I think they got the most out of this deal. It sounded like they're not going to keep Mac. They at least got 2 first-round picks for them. This is great for the Bears. This is great for what they're doing. So we talked about this before we started recording. This is a great move for a team that believes in its franchise quarterback in Trubisky and this offense with the with the new coaching staff that they can go further and beyond. The NFC, as a conference, is completely stacked at this point, especially the North as a division. So you have to compete now, and this is a win now type of move that makes this a a top 10 defense with top 5 upside. They were a good defense last year despite their injuries. And they just added, one of the greatest pass rushers we've had right now, who can not only pass rush well, but can set the edge and run defend very well.
Oh, this makes their run defense straight up scary.
This is insane.
Yeah. I still expect there to be a little, because I think he's really the only fantastic pass rusher they have on the team.
Floyd's all right if he's healthy, but
so they may not be the best pass defense. They'll probably be top 10-ish, but I don't think they're going to be elite.
We can make a team one-dimensional. You can do a lot of different things.
But limiting the ability for the other team to run helps.
Yeah.
So for me, as a Bears fan, I think this is what takes that defense from solid to very, very good. They were a top 10 defense last year. They had players in the secondary that could cover. They're really hurt by the offense. But then they lost Unrein, and they weren't that good at getting after the quarterback. And bringing in Khalil Mack is a difference maker there. You put him opposite a healthy Leonard Floyd, and with one of their rookies, Kylie Fitz, who's shown out in training camp, and they actually could surprise some people as pass rushers. We already know that Fuller and Nakamura can cover with Jackson and Amos playing the safety positions. That worked out well last year, but this gives them another dimension that I don't think that they previously had and makes them scary against the run. The Bears are a team that you're going to have to look at sitting some people against this year.
And then the other big thing that this does is most fantasy scoring for defenses is you're looking for sacks because it's the most consistent thing you can rely on week to week. Turnovers are great. It gives you those big blow-up weeks, but it's something you can't really rely on. So getting a guy who can give you 15-plus sacks in a season is going to be a massive boost to that.
Yeah, the Bears are a draftable defense now, especially I thought that they were last year, sure. Back into the last round of your draft. But at this point, I'm not saying go up and grab them before the last round, but when you get there, Bears, along with the Chargers, are two defenses I'm really looking at.
Yeah, the one thing I would caution on the Bears is they do open up in Green Bay week 1. I have a league where I have to start the Bears week 1 because it's a limited roster league and it's dynasty. So I will be rolling that out and just taking my thumps on that one. And
that's the difference maker to keep in mind when you are drafting them. And this goes into a good point about the NFC North. They do play the Vikings, Packers, and Lions twice, who all have solid to very good offenses.
Yep. And then they also catch the West, so they're also going to catch at least the Rams. I know they catch the Buccaneers this year. So there's some decent offenses they're going to be playing, and they get the Patriots like all the rest of the North does. So there'll be some rough weeks for the Bears.
They also get the AFC East to go along with the Patriots. They get the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins.
So those will be 3 great matchups for them. All right, I think that's enough on a defensive player. That's normally not our style, but this was such a big move we had to. Let's go into who got cut of note in our Cutdown Spectacular.
This isn't a short one, so you're just going to have to decide when you want to start.
How long is it?
What's the one that he uses?
Well, it's the one I normally use. There's about 15 seconds left.
Okay. So who got cut of note? We're going to kick it off with the quarterbacks. One of the show's favorite, Kurt Benkert, did get cut from the Falcons. I think they may try to practice squad.
He's already there.
Already practice squad.
That'd be my guess.
They may try to turn him into the backup quarterback of the future because Matt Schaub is no spring chicken.
Yeah.
Paxton Lynch got waived from the Broncos after they went and picked up Chris Hogan from the Redskins. So the Paxton Lynch era is over.
Kevin Hogan?
Kevin Hogan, sorry. wrong Hogan.
they signed Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Okay.
So Lynch era is over. Any real shock there?
No.
He's fucking
mercifully. Garbage. Chad Kelly hype train, though. He's the backup now. He's only got one more spot to complete his ascension.
AK-47 himself, loading up.
This one surprised me a little bit because I thought he looked better in preseason compared to the one who they kept over him. But Davis Webb got waived by the Giants.
That surprised me too because I thought Loletta looked like crap. But I don't know if it's just a Shermer thing to where Webb was previous coaching staff or what it is. But I thought that Davis Webb was a better quarterback, so I'd be surprised if he doesn't land someplace.
Yeah, he definitely flashed a little bit this year. Maybe it was also a situation too of like Webb's had an additional year and it wasn't enough of a difference that we'll take a shot on the younger player.
I thought they would have kept both of them. Honestly.
Or that too.
I thought they would have kept both of them just because Manning's.
Well, they did pick up someone, so we'll get to that later.
Okay.
And then the last one, also show favorite Nick Shimonek did get waived by the Chargers. Are they going to try to practice squad him?
He may already be there. Also, I think I saw that.
Hope so.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so Shimonek is a long-term kind of.
He looked very raw in preseason, but he also made some very nice throws.
The arm talent is there.
The arm was live.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of doing it live. Yeah,
the thinking was not.
The brain may not have been, but the arm was. All right, that's all I got for quarterbacks. Not a lot there. It was almost all just running backs and wide receivers this year for interesting
makes
moves.
sense.
Also of note was Etling. I don't know if you put him in there.
I forgot to add Etling.
Danny Etling.
Danny
got
Etling,
cut.
and he's on the practice squad
So,
for the
he
Patriots.
got moved to the practice squad, but he got cut as well.
Yeah, we thought there might be a chance he could outplay Hoyer, who we don't consider very highly.
So names to keep in mind that weren't cut: Mike White and Cooper Rush, both of Dallas.
Yep.
Both got kept.
So we do have a surprise they were kept or
Oh.
segment later.
Hey,
I'm not that.
remember that
I'm
time I
surprised.
didn't read the show script?
Yeah.
I didn't read it either. You're fine.
Welcome to On-Air Production Meetings presented by
We haven't done
Beerfield
this in a
Fantasy
while.
Football.
On your production meeting.
All right, moving on to running backs then. Kicking it off with the 49ers, they cut both Joe Williams and Jeremy McNichols.
Jesus.
The McDouble Dream is dead.
McDouble Dream is dead. They may try to practice squad McNichols again. Williams went to IR.
I expect McNichols.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You go into practice squad.
Yep. McNichols actually didn't look too bad in preseason too, so it looks like he's starting to get the offense, but it just seems to really be a struggle for him.
There's nothing. He's not going to be a thing. I want him to be, but he won't.
This one surprised me a little bit because I thought he looked pretty decent in preseason. Gus Edwards got waived by the Ravens.
Practice squad.
Yeah.
Yep, he's on the practice squad now.
Okay, so he may be a long-term thing for them if they don't stick with Allen or Dixon. He could possibly be the RB2 or 3 there long-term.
I thought he was pretty mad outside of week 1. He showed a little bit, but he looked pretty mad at me.
He wasn't explosive or anything, but I saw enough there. I'm like, they may want him as a reliable guy.
He's just a guy.
Kind of an Alfred Blue plus.
Hey.
Ryan Nell got
might
waived
be
by
a
the
jag.
Bears, and he's practice squatted.
Yep. I expected, this was weird to me because I expected him, and sorry if I'm going to jump on the next one, but Taquan Mizell, both one of those two to make the active roster, and then they didn't. They kept the fullback, and then Benny Cunningham.
Oh, I did miss that Mizell also got waived. So did Mizell get practice squatted or no?
Mizell did not get practice squatted yet.
I thought he looked better than
They only had 2 practice squad guys signed when I looked, and all being one of them, or 3.
I got notes up.
2
right
of them were non-Gentry, so.
I got some news stuff up just in case anything drops.
Bo Scarborough got waived by the Cowboys. I think they actually did put him on IR for that.
Yeah.
So he is off the team. It is going to be the Rod Smith show.
Who's their third?
I don't even know right now.
either.
I don't know that they had a third.
They have somebody that was playing splitting time with Scarborough, but I don't remember the name. I'll have to look it
I
up.
would have kept Scar. Right, that's weird to me.
All right, DeAngelo Henderson was waived by the Broncos, and he landed on the Jets practice squad.
Not
good for him.
Not bad. The Jets are looking for talent everywhere they can find it. The Jets are pretty much the
We're gonna throw
poster child of throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks.
Yeah, they're very desperate for talent right now. Larry Rose got waived by the Rams.
There was no place with them keeping Malcolm Brown and John Kelly.
Yep.
Mike Gillislee got waived by the Patriots. He does have a visit with the Saints.
Not surprising, and the Saints need somebody because they did only keep 2 running backs.
Yes.
Speaking of him,
Well, technically 3, but 1 is suspended.
No, you get it.
Jonathan Williams got waived by the Saints. So this is a shocker.
Surprise!
We were wrong. I don't know what the hell happened here.
I don't think they know. Once it was like Terrence West, then
So-
it was Jonathan Williams, and now it's Boston Scott.
So Derek Brown at DebroFF247 on Twitter did point out that the team does keep things real close to the chest. So since this was such a shock, there's probably something that we haven't heard about yet that was the reason for the cut.
Like Mike Gillislee, or
No, he was cut before Gillislee was cut. So I think it was either
He
he
did
was
something.
speculating that it may have been an off-field issue that they've kept under wraps, a possible suspension, something like that.
Gotcha.
Thomas Rawls got waived by the Jets.
No one will miss you.
Poor guy.
they won't.
Charkandrick West got waived by the Jets.
It's sad.
You can tell that you have a much better opinion of Charkandrick West.
I do.
This one actually surprised me a little bit. Josh Adams got waived by the Eagles because he looked pretty good this preseason.
Practice squad.
He did get practice squatted?
Yep.
And then Donnell Pumphrey also got waived by the Eagles.
Not practice squad. Darren Sproles re-signing killed that.
Yeah, and the other issue for Pumphrey, he's just so small. And he's not like Cohen or Sproles. He doesn't have that short frame. He's decently tall.
He's just
Only 170 pounds.
Yeah, he's tall, he's thin. He probably would have been better as a slot receiver, maybe. I don't know what you could use him as.
Maybe a return specialist.
Maybe.
Paperweight?
Yeah. And even then, he's a little light. Fitzgerald Toussaint waived by the Steelers.
again, not surprising given the way that Samuels caught on and Connor looked. So
Yeah, so
there's just no room for him.
the 4 is going to be Bell, Connor, Ridley, Samuels.
Yep.
Akram Wadley, not show favorite, but some people did like him, was waived by the Titans.
Yeah, he got outplayed wholeheartedly by David Llewellyn, and he just, I don't know, he looked okay, but he should practice squad someplace, I would think.
Yeah, they might take a shot at him. He was very productive in college, but his combine numbers and kind of preseason performance were not spectacular.
Yeah, there is sometimes in the preseason where he looked all right, but not anything to write home about.
All right, this one actually surprised me a little bit. Capri Bibbs waived by the Redskins.
Not me.
Not you.
I'm a Capri Bibbs hater.
I was just thought that he may be in for the kind of Chris Thompson backup job.
No, because that's Byron Marshall. He came in first, I think, for most of the preseason. He came in and played that type of role right away. So
Okay.
I think it was always going to be Marshall.
The games I watched, it was more Bibbs, so I must have saw something different. But yeah, he looked like he had that spot locked up, so I was a little surprised when he was waived because I thought they'd keep him in case something happened to Thompson, which he is kind of prone to do.
Eh.
All right, anything else on the running backs that I missed?
I can't think of anybody that you missed really that's notable.
That's worth to talk about, yeah.
All right, moving on to the wide receivers. Brashad Perriman era is over in Baltimore. They waived him.
He's
Isn't he
visiting the Jets.
Yeah,
He
I
will
was
be
gonna say he's visiting somebody.
He'll be visiting the Jets Monday, I believe.
More shit at the wall.
I
and
was gonna
hoping it
say.
sticks.
Little shit, too.
They needed to be done with him. He needed to change it. It's the same thing as Paxton Lynch. It didn't pan out.
Yep.
Needed to change scenery.
All right. Speaking of teams, what the hell are they doing? Bills traded a pick for Corey Coleman and then waived him and ate the cap space.
To be fair, it was a 2027th. I don't know about the cap space.
They ate like $4 million in cap space to do this.
Yeah,
So
they're
that's
not exactly like they're hurting for it, I guess, but still.
it is a waste of a
Maybe he
limited
wasn't
resource.
a fit. Maybe he just wasn't a fit.
He barely saw the field.
Apparently not a fit anywhere.
That's probably why.
All right. Malachi Dupree was waived by the Bills.
sad.
Just one word answer. Okay. Bryce Butler waived by the Cardinals.
What? I saw that, and that was the only one that really made me say, "What the hell?" Because they went out and paid for him. He didn't look bad, and they didn't exactly have a stockpile of wide receivers. So
For me, this is a
Somebody else must have.
this is-
Outside of Chad Williams and Kurt must have done.
I think it's JJ
Pretty
Nelson
well.
is the other one.
That.
JJ Nelson's a pure deep threat, though. I thought Butler's a little bit more dynamic.
It's only 5 too. So
It's still, yeah.
why not keep 6
I don't know.
They may not
on
have
a
room.
roster? Yeah,
Or they may have a receiver we're not aware of who's more of a special teams guy.
That could be.
that could be.
But I'd be surprised if he doesn't end up someplace. Jets.
Same here.
Everyone to the Jets.
Everybody to the Jets.
Or the Bills.
Let's load up
They
the
need
jet and we'll
players.
send him to the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Deontay Thompson to Cowboys.
Okay. He may have had an outside shot to make it as a field stretcher, but they've just got a mess. That Cowboys team is a mess. Jason Garrett is a back end entry into my coaching Deadpool.
Yeah. Jerry
as
seems
you should
really
be.
determined not to fire him, though.
Yeah, well, we saw how that works. Looking at you, Marvin Lewis.
This one surprised me a little bit, considering just how void of talent they are. Darius Fountain waived by the Colts, and I assume they're going to try to practice squad him.
Him and Hogan both.
I didn't see Hogan on the list. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kershawn Hogan got waived too. So, yeah, those both surprised me. And Dynasty Guru FF, tweet your condolences.
Nice.
He is on the practice squad.
Fountains.
Yeah, Fountain is.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, I knew
at some
because
point
they
today.
spent a 5th on Fountain, so I was like, if they don't at least
He was
practice
raw
squad him, that
too,
would
but he
surprise
just
me.
he jumped out a bit, especially on tape.
All right, Alan Lazard waived by the Jaguars. Not a big shock with how crowded they were there.
Yeah, he should end up on somebody's practice squad, I would hope.
Jehu Chesson from the 2017 draft class was waived by the Chiefs.
He flashed as a special teamer, but it never really clicked as a wide receiver, so he may just be out of the league. I don't really... Or he lands as a special team depth piece someplace else.
All right, Dylan Cantrell, Chargers. Pour one out for Hopper.
Yeah, I think this might have been a situation where there just wasn't room. For a 24-year-old that's athletically gifted but trying to learn the NFL game with Tyrell Williams and Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and
Benjamin.
Travis Benjamin, and I mean there may have just not been room there.
Yeah, those 4 were locked in, and then there's probably a guy who's more of a special teams fit as their 5th and 6th
There's probably
spots.
players there. Yeah.
Leonte Carew for the Dolphins, former 3rd-round pick.
I've never been on that hype train, so
That was before.
Granted-
That was before we watched film too.
granted it is the
Very
Dolphins,
true.
but
So yeah, he
Maybe he ends up somewhere.
This was not a real impressive wide receiver depth chart. So the fact that he couldn't even make this team is probably he's done. Isaiah Ford also cut by the Dolphins. So just whatever.
Silence means we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't care about Isaiah Ford.
All right. I don't know if he'll land anywhere else, but I'd guess probably no. I think he's likely done too.
Somebody will throw it to him and he'll bobble it and then try to catch it. And
Jake Weineke,
Half the time catch it.
waived by the Vikings. It looks like he'll probably be practice
He is
squad.
already practice squad.
is he?
Yep.
Okay, he wasn't there earlier when I looked, so
All right. Kendall Wright, waived by the Vikings.
he may just be done.
Yeah, he couldn't even crack this, which was not. I mean,
Couldn't
outside
beat
of
out
Diggs,
Treddy.
outside of Diggs and
He got
Thielen,
beat
this
out
is
by
not.
Stacy Coley.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. He flashed a little bit early off season before he got hurt.
who I picked up today.
Trevor McBride, waived by the Jets. He had a kind of a brief moment this preseason of some hype.
He had a little bit of a flash there.
I lied about Jake Weineke.
Yeah, I know.
I thought I saw him.
No,
I
he's
thought I
not
saw
on the
him.
practice squad. I thought I saw their full practice squad. I don't remember seeing him there. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how all these practice squads actually do fill out. But Trey McBride has always had the athletic talent, but hasn't really put it together for a full season. He's a former Bear who could do it there when there was nobody. So
All right, Darius Stewart also waived by the Jets.
him, that's not surprising. I don't know what the Jets are doing.
I agreed. It'll be interesting to see if he does land anywhere because he was somebody who profiled with some decent play in college. So
Yeah, congrats, guys. You got Quincy Enunwa, Robbie Anderson, and Terrell Pryor. Man, no real talent behind them.
Yep.
Way to go, Jets.
Woo. Oh, curse too.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
One more clap.
Because he makes me want to do that.
All right, so the Raiders traded a third-round pick from Martavis Bryant, and then he failed a drug test, surprisingly, and then they cut him.
Surprise, surprise. Bye, Felicia.
Raise your hand if you're shocked.
Raise your hand if you were just now done with me. We were all done with Martavis Bryant last year.
Yeah. After he threw his hissy fit on the Steelers and then got just completely sidelined to Juju.
Yep.
Wasted talent.
Marcel Aitman got waived by the Raiders. He may be a practice squad candidate.
Wasted? No, just kidding. Are there age restrictions to the practice squad? Can you go there?
He can. It is NFL experience restrictions, not age. Unfortunately, it's not like you're too tall to be on the practice squad or something.
I thought maybe too old.
Yeah, you're too old to be on the practice squad.
Deontay Burnett waived by the Titans.
He also ended up on the Jets practice squad.
The Jets got him, huh? Okay.
Yeah, the Jets
Nice.
got him. I don't hate that. Burnett had a solid game in week 3, and I liked his tape enough out of college to where he could eventually be like a slot guy, role player that is
Got no fear.
Somebody in 2 or 3 years we're talking about as a waiver on a waiver wire show.
It's got good hands too.
Oh man, what's a Brian Hartline type?
Yes.
I was gonna say more of a Jeremy Curley type.
Okay. Simi Cobbs Jr. waived by the Redskins.
Thank God.
Fuck him.
I didn't want him to succeed.
Nope.
I've never had somebody who I went from like, hey, this guy could be interesting to hating in just one tape.
Yeah, I know. His tape made
It's
me.
like one half of a tape. He
You didn't have
flashed
to
once.
watch all the way through it.
No.
He's not an effort guy.
No.
If he was,
If he was, he would
He
have been
was.
drafted.
You'd have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Tight end, only one I have that I saw was Nick O'Leary waived by the Bills, which surprised me.
oh yeah, that is a little surprising. But Paulson in preseason was just overall better, so that was.
So Paulson will be the 2 behind Clay, and Clay likes to get hurt, so
Yep.
keep an eye on that. All right, other players of note. Dan Bailey waived by the Cowboys.
What the fuck are they doing?
Every
Jesus
Kicker Live
Christ.
studio audience had on a team last year is no longer on an NFL team, so she's the kiss of death for kickers.
All right. So we'll keep you updated who she drafts, so you know who not to draft next year.
Mason Crosby. Just,
I'm
just for.
imploring her to draft Daniel Carlson. No, I'm not. I own him too many places.
Just say.
Yeah. Who's her kicker? Is it Bullock?
No, it
Sixth
is-
round pick from this year, isn't it?
No, it's a guy they brought that
All right.
that lost to Bailey a few years ago.
That's right.
What's his name?
I'll pull it up. One moment.
Hold on.
Well,
Or is it Dan Carpenter? Nick Novak making a return.
Big Dick Nick kicking Hopper into the playoffs once.
Brett Mayer.
Bless you.
Nay.
He was with the CFL last season.
Yeah.
All right. CFL kickers.
Maybe Dan Bailey will go to a team that'll actually
So,
appreciate him then.
Dan Bailey was making over $3 million a year, and they were concerned about his back. So it's probably
He'll go. He'll land
We'll
somewhere.
save some money.
His legs, though, man.
Those end arounds, though.
Those end arounds.
Is in the runs.
Dan, do you know what? Only one that's getting this. We'll miss you, Dan Bailey.
And,
So-
and
And those great end
pour one
arounds.
out for every Dallas homer who reached on him.
Just pour one out for every Dallas homer. I don't want to be a Cowboys fan this year.
All right, and then
No.
we don't normally talk about punters, but the Texans cut Shane Leckler.
Yeah, that was weird. It may have been a contract thing also for him, though. I'm pretty sure he was getting paid relatively decently.
I think he was one of the top 3 punters in the league in terms of money.
Yeah, and if somebody came in and even came close to giving a run for his money, Leckler should end up someplace, though.
He will find a home.
He will find a home.
As you
And
should.
he's old as hell, and he's like 38,
I
39.
thought I think he's getting up to
He
40.
still has a rocket launcher attached to his leg.
Yeah. Somehow.
That must be really hard to walk with.
Terminator.
Or very quick, depending if you use it or not.
All right, that's all we got for the cut downs that were of note. Let's go ahead and get a beer review in.
Beer review.
What'd you guys think of F-Town Brewing Company's Moon Boots Peanut Butter Porter?
A lot of peanut butter on the front end. I definitely get the hints of chocolate, though. They described it as a peanut butter cup. It's pretty close. I've had, I think, 3 chocolate peanut butter porters now. Nothing touches absence of light, but this would be
That's almost cheating.
that's
Yeah.
cheating. So this would be kind of the step below it. It's still very, very good, though. I appreciate it. It's very nutty and just a little hint of cocoa on the end.
Yeah.
Absence Light's also an Imperial Peanut Butter Porter, I believe, so it's also significantly just stronger overall. This is kind of the lighter version, I would describe it as.
Yeah.
Because it comes in only at 5.1%, whereas Absence Light thinks close to 10. And then this is
Well, Imperial. Does it
Does it
say?
I don't think it says it.
should be, I think it's right down there, isn't it?
7.1.
Oh, okay. So not quite as strong as I remembered. But yeah, that is definitely my favorite peanut butter porter. This would be a close second, though. It does basically taste like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
It does. They executed well.
Yeah, it doesn't mess around with the flavors too much. It's very, very solid. So yeah, for a
You're
brewery,
getting what you're expecting.
for a brewery I've never heard about in a smaller town in Minnesota, it's about an hour south of the Twin Cities.
Yeah, about.
Fantastic overall porter. So well done, guys. Porters are not as common of a beer for a lot of smaller breweries to take a shot at. So thanks for doing
Especially
so. And
peanut butter porter.
And you did something interesting with it. So well done, guys.
And you executed well. Like, I've been drinking on it pretty constantly.
All right. Let's talk about some players who are already been signed other places who got cut, or surprise players who stuck around, which I only had one who really shocked me. Luke Falk was picked up by the Dolphins. He was cut by the Titans.
The Dolphins just really like bad quarterbacks.
They do.
I don't know what to expect from Luke Falk. I'm not going to put any... I don't have analysis on this because I don't think it's worth talking about.
We hated his tape. Enough said.
I hate it. Yeah,
I was amazed he was drafted, and then when they waived him, I wasn't too
I was
shocked.
amazed people had him as like a
I'm just
mid-round
amazed he
prospect.
landed someplace.
That
All right. Kevin Hogan was picked up by the Broncos to be their quarterback 3
Let's just hope you should never have to see Kevin Hogan.
because Chad Kelly
I
will
think
hold
Kevin
him off.
Hogan hopes to never have to see Kevin Hogan
Right.
on the field. Oh, shit, what am I doing, guys?
Another former Browns quarterback landing someplace, though.
Moving on to wide receivers, Tanner McAvoy was picked up by the Dolphins.
That's interesting. McAvoy's a guy who had some flashes, anyway, in Seattle when he was there. So
Yeah. And he was very briefly with the Saints, and they waived him.
yeah.
Yep.
So, but he's a big outside receiver who could have some red zone presence. Not necessarily interesting from a dynasty standpoint or really a fantasy standpoint, but
You may see him make
you may
some
see
few
him
plays
make
on Sundays.
make some touchdowns and stuff. It's more of a Tannehill help than anything in the red zone.
All right. Wide receiver Mara Darbo was cut by the Seahawks, and the Patriots picked him up.
Again, Patriots are looking for any type of wide receiver depth they can get. And if there's anybody that can milk what we thought Darbo could be, it's the Patriots.
So before they picked up Darbo and the player we're about to talk about, they had 3 wide receivers on the roster. Because
Right.
Edelman didn't count to the roster because he's suspended. So they had Patterson, Dorsett, and Hogan. That was it.
Yeah. So you could see these guys kind of work in and maybe carve out a role for them. And Darboh is a former 3rd-round pick that we liked a lot.
Yep.
Good ball skills, good route runner. So,
all right, and then Chad Hansen returns to his natural habitat, being picked up by the Patriots. He was cut by the Jets.
So Chad Hansen, again, another good route runner, another guy with good hands. He's an Edelman type of receiver, though. He's a slot guy.
He's a little bigger.
He can play outside.
6'1",
Bigger.
6'2", isn't he?
But
Sounds right.
more possession
Yeah.
is what I meant.
Yeah, he's more, I'd call him more Bolden-esque,
Yeah.
where he's possession. He's not super athletic, but he's good at going up and fighting for the ball and getting more open than he should.
So
Yeah.
if you're going to take a stash on one of these guys, who are you taking?
I think Darboh has a...
Probably Darboh's got more of a ceiling, I think, and they're looking for a true one, and he could be.
Well, I think they're okay with Hogan as their true one.
For now.
For now. Yes.
They haven't extended him yet.
I mean, I'm not saying for long
I'm
term. I'm
talking
saying
long-
for
I'm
just a
talking long
season.
term.
Okay, long term.
I'm not talking redraft. I'm talking dynasty.
But if I was looking for more of an immediate impact, I would trust Hansen more because I think he could possibly outplay
One of
either
these guys,
Dorsett
I
or
think.
Patterson.
Yeah.
I didn't
one
see
of these
much
guys
out of
will.
either of them in preseason.
Dorsett was real quiet, but he was running with the ones. I saw more from Patterson.
I was talking about
Hansen and Darboh. Yeah, I didn't see a ton from either one.
No.
So
All right, and then the surprise guy who did not get cut was Rico Gathers. And this is the big surprise was he was caught in possession of weed on Friday night or the night before cutdowns.
good.
I changed your notes because you put Chargers in here. So I
Oh,
changed it back to Cowboys. I'm like,
Oh.
wishful thinking. He tried.
oh, okay. I was channeling what we wanted to
He
happen.
tried
Yes.
to will it into existence.
It will happen.
Yeah, that's interesting. He did not get cut though, so suck it, Sean.
I'm so upset. Wasted talent.
Well, hey,
Buried on that roster.
maybe they'll move him back to a move tight end and be smart about it. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't really believe in Swaim or Jarwin or Schultz. So there's a move tight end, so we'll see.
All right. So that is it for the Cutdown Spectacular. Before we call it an episode here, I do want to do a preview of the rest of week 1 for you guys. Wednesday, we're going to talk early season strategy. So things like some things you should be doing in terms of earmarking players as possible churn candidates, things you should maybe doing in terms of trade strategy, looking at defenses and kickers early in the season, that sort of thing, just to get your team to start off on the best foot possible, try to win some of those early games. We're going to preview the Thursday night opener, and we're going to give you our starts of the week. So we'll have our week 1 rankings done for you by the time we record Wednesday's episode. Friday, we're going to preview all 15 games Monday and Wednesday. That'll keep us plenty busy, so that's all we're covering on that episode. And then a reminder, one last time, on Sunday, all 3 of us will be live on YouTube at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. So please tweet questions at BeerfieldFF or jump into the chat with us, drop them in there. We'll have probably either Dan or Hopper here running the chat while I'm trying to lead the discussion on that and reading off news. So we'll try to answer as many of your guys' questions as possible while we're doing the chat.
I got a question.
What's your question?
When are we going to review Thursday night's game? They're going to be for Friday?
You are correct. That will be during
Just wanna
Friday's
make sure.
episode.
Yep.
I forgot.
Just in case.
We will review Thursday night game on Friday. I forgot that we did
A lot
that.
of games to talk about.
I probably would have remembered by the time I got to doing the show notes.
I would hope.
I would hope so, but
All right.
I got to be good for something.
Anything else we want to shout out here before we call this a spectacular?
Potato.
Potato. Cool. Well, with that, we are Beerfield Fantasy Football.
Chips.
You can follow us at BeerfieldFF on Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Beerfield Fantasy Football on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe there so you can catch us on Sunday mornings before kickoff. And just a note, before London games, if those are early kickoffs, yes, we are here at stupid early in the morning to do those too.
Yep.
So apologies to our future selves. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, guys. We will catch you guys next time on Beerfield Fantasy Football as we go through some early season strategy for you.